following program contains insensitive language, graphic content, lewd behavior, and unconventional opinions. This show should not be viewed by anyone, and viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. Dick Rickles here, and welcome to another episode of Stupid Dumb Animals. Today is going to be a different episode than what we usually do. I usually do video reactions and news readings and stuff like that, but today I thought I would just bring you guys a hobby that I enjoy, just kind of share something about what I like to do in my free time. I enjoy reading graphic novels, and I have a few here that I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to share with you their authors and just hopefully get you guys to maybe check some of them out and just support some of this great art and this great work. I like graphic novels just because I like the visual aspect of it. I like seeing, the art itself is always really, really cool, and seeing how detailed people can get, how they choose to depict their characters and such. I have a few different examples to show you here today. And the first one, here we go, is Ranma 1/2. Ranma 1/2 was written and actually had a show for a little while in 1989. The show went from 1989, I think, until the mid-90s, and then it just kind of wrapped up because the graphic novel itself has wrapped up and has a beginning and an end and everything like that, and just has a definitive ending to the story. So the show ended in kind. The story itself is about this young man here named Ranma, who has visited a cursed pool in China, and when he fell into that pool, he was cursed with the ability to change into a girl. And this right here is his female form, and he changes into a girl whenever he's splashed with cold water, and then changes back into a boy whenever he's splashed with hot water. The whole cast is afflicted with the same kind of curse, except they all change into different things. Like this pig right here is actually a childhood friend of Ranma's, that transforms back into his human form when he's splashed with hot water. And then you have Ranma's dad here, Genma, who is a panda when he's splashed with cold water, and then changes back into his human form. The whole series is just obviously rife with shenanigans of them transforming in inopportune situations. But the whole storyline itself kind of takes a jab at what's called shonen comics, which are just they're basically like kung fu comics specifically aimed for boys. But a lot of it's not always kung fu. Like it's the same trope as like the big robot comics that you see, or the giant monster comics. Those would all fall under the category of shonen. Now, Ranma kind of takes a jab at that entire series because the men in the comic, even though they were very muscular in stature and tall, and they can like break boulders with their bare hands, they're all very goofy and stupid, and they kind of like trip over themselves all the time, and it's sort of that little play of like these giant muscular men that think they're all that are actually just clumsy oafs. And all the women in the series, I say females because Ranma has a male and female form. I wouldn't usually refer to women as females. But the women in the series are all pretty much the same, where they're all like extremely, extremely strong. But what I like about it is that they're not depicted as like buff Amazonian women. They're all just kind of like fit and just like of normal stature. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see people just sort of have like that strength and energy and confidence in themselves while still having like normal looking features and stuff. The author of Ranma is Rumiko Takahashi. She's very, very well known and one of Japan's wealthiest manga artists. She also created a series called Inuyasha, which was very, very popular on Adult Swim. And she has a few other graphic novel series that are really, really good. But the one that I wanted to focus on right now was Ranma, because it was just a personal favorite of mine. I read a lot of it in middle school, and then recently I just kind of found that it was available online to buy again, so I just kind of bought them again, brand new, and have been enjoying rereading them. What's the next one?
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, and others, we have a serious situation. John Travolta is missing. I repeat, John Travolta is missing. He was last seen wandering the streets of Ocala. He's 6'2" and John Travolta. Please stop what you're doing and help find this American treasure.
Oh, okay, here's another one. I'm gonna do like a manga theme in the first half. The second one that I want to show you guys is Junji Ito. Now, this is just this is an author as opposed to a singular series. And the reason is because Junji Ito's books are just amazing. A lot of them are collections of short stories. Like Shiver here is a collection of short stories. Smashed is also fragments of horror. And these three here, Uzumaki, Gyo, and Tomei, they're all a collection of stories that revolve around kind of a singular subject, I guess. Uzumaki is the one that I'm working on currently, and it's about a town that's plagued by a spiral pattern that's basically driving the entire citizenry to madness. Smashed and Shiver are another two that I own. Smashed is a good one to get started on. The stories aren't too terribly graphic or gory, and they're very suspenseful, and it's all of it is very psychological thriller-esque stories. They're all kind of Twilight Zone kind of stories. They sort of bring the same kind of vibe as like Black Mirror or anything that has that sort of like eerie, sinister feeling to it. The author of these books, obviously, is Junji Ito, and he's a horror manga writer specifically. Very, very popular over in Japan. He has a few other books that are just specifically about one story. So they're like long novellas that he's written. They are one of them is Remina, the other is called Censor. Those are fantastic. Any book on here is just completely worth checking out. No Longer Human is also fantastic. That one's a great read. Just gut-wrenching, that one is, because it's a very intense story about depression and putting on a happy face for people, and it's based actually off of a novel that's it's a biographical novel of a man named, I forget the man who wrote the book that is a graphic novelization of. Okay. With those two series out of the way, I think we're going to go to our first break. All right, thank you very much. We'll be right back after these messages. Do you like pointing out awkward silences but don't want to remain ever vigilant? Introducing the Cricket Box! The Cricket Box uses state-of-the-art microphone technology to detect when a previously raucous room turns to deafening silence. Awkward farts, inappropriate comments, and off-color remarks will never go unnoticed again with the help of the Cricket Box! Order today from Dickie Rick's Pranks and Tricks at our new store on Butts Avenue. Hello everybody, welcome back. We still have two other series that I would love to show you guys. These two series that I'm about to show you guys are American graphic novels. They're comic books, and comic books that you probably recognize just based off of the characters themselves. So the first one that I'm going to show you guys is Invincible. Invincible recently got a show on Amazon Prime, and it just blew up in popularity. And as soon as I saw some of the scenes from the show itself, I thought to myself, I don't care to watch the show. I want to read this comic book. So I immediately bought this right here, the Invincible Compendium Volume 1. And it is incredible. The author is Robert Kirkman, who also wrote the story for The Walking Dead, which is also an amazing comic book. And Invincible just kind of touches on the main character here. His name is Mark, and he has recently found out that his father is not who he says he is, and is part of a alien race. I just don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But finds out that his father is not who he says he is, and that he's part of an alien race, and that he must return home immediately. And his realization of his father's kind of secret double life shakes up really the whole planet, because Mark's father is kind of like the Superman of this planet, of this version of Earth. And the story has a lot of ins and outs, because Mark is like a high school senior, so there's a lot of like the teen romance stuff in there. There's a lot of drama in it, but there's also parts that like it deals with Mark's mom's depression after her husband leaves, and like even though she's like the husband, or even though she's the mother of a superhero, she still gets hit with that same depression of going through a divorce. And it's very interesting how they sort of take these very human emotional experiences and then translate it into the comic book, into a superhero comic book of all things, because there's all these different side stories about like clones and interdimensional travel and space travel and like cyborg super soldiers and all these things. But in it is also wrapped up like little love stories, and the story between Mark and his mom, and him realizing everything that she's going through, and how strong he doesn't have to be just for the whole world, but also for his mom in this moment, when she's very, very sad and down. But yeah, Invincible is a fantastic read. Anything really by Robert Kirkman. He's just written a bunch of stuff that's really, really good. He's been on he's written for Ultimate X-Men, Marvel Zombies was another good one, and the Ant-Man series he wrote for. So he's just got his hand in all kinds of comic books, and it is fascinating to see how the elements that he can put into a genre of story that you thought could not touch on those kinds of subjects. Same thing with The Walking Dead. You see a lot of those elements in that series as well, where you have a zombie movie, but you also have very human elements still in this zombie movie that hits all the same traditional elements of a zombie movie. Okay, and now we're going to do the last one. There you go. This is Rocket and Groot. Rocket and Groot are obviously characters from Guardians of the Galaxy, which have also had significant cinema time in these past years. The reason that I love this series so much is because these two, you see a very hefty relationship in the series, like in the movies, and this just dives into such a interesting and unique way that the movies really can't touch on in the same way. Like Groot obviously can only say I am Groot, but whenever he says "I am Groot" in the graphic novel, you can see in the letters, in the bolded letters, that there's a drawing, and the drawing is what Groot means to say. So that's something that the series just can't do from the perspective of cinema, because there's just so much more going on in cinema that you don't have time to check out those little nuances. You just have to deal with like context clues and stuff like that. I love the story behind the series. It's about Rocket and Groot getting separated for a brief moment and then finding each other again. There's this particular title that you're looking at, the Tricks of the Trade here. This is a collection of a few issues of Rocket and Groot, and they, like, all the little stories in between, they just flesh out the characters so much more that make you appreciate the sort of, the incredible journey parody that you kind of get to see. And there's a few issues in there that deal with Groot's origins. Rocket Raccoon's origins, of course, continue to be a mystery. And but you do get to see a girl Rocket in the series, which is interesting because he kind of confronts her about, like, oh, where do we come from? And she's of course cut off at the last second before she can reveal where they come from. But it's still such a worthwhile series to read, just because you get to see the friendship between these two that's usually like a background thing become a foreground thing. And yeah, what they do with them is amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this little presentation of mine of these novels, graphic novels, comic books, manga, whatever you wish to call them or address them as, that I just enjoy. I hope you guys one day get to check them out for yourselves and enjoy them as well as I have. And like, whenever you're in a bookstore next time, check out the comic books, check out the graphic novels, see what they have, because they have all kinds of books that are just novels originally that people have decided to depict as graphic novels. So, like, I have The Giver and Handmaid's Tale depicted as graphic novels. I've seen the Iliad depicted as that. Beowulf as well. So give them a try. The art is fantastic, and you never know what artist that's worked on these comics has also worked on another project that you enjoy. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to love yourselves and each other.